Hey guys, Albe here. This time around I need your input on a few topics, starting with BMW coming out with an F850GS adventure, and then the technology that slowly over the years is creeping into our motorcycles. And then since MotoGP is just a few months away, and I know that in America MotoGP is not that popular, I would like to try to make it a little bit more popular because it's a fantastic sport, especially if you like motorcycles, the drama, the speed, and those fantastic machines. And on top of that, I'm gonna ask a few key questions for our motorcycle survival. But enough with the chit chat, let's get on it. So first topic I want to talk about is BMW did it again. They got a perfectly fine F850GS, fattened it up, added some more fuel, added a few more things, made it a little bigger, and pulled out an F850GS Adventure. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the Adventure version of the F series, like the F800GS Adventure, but some people like Pierre's from Pierre ADV, they swear upon them. They say that that's the way to go. It's not the way I see it. I see the F800 as a light adventure bike for a little bit more gnarly trail, a little bit more gnarly adventure where it can take you just a little bit farther into the woods than a big 1200 or the new 1250. If we look at the new F850GS Adventure, what they did, they added 2 gallons to the tank. That gives you quite a bit of an extended range, especially if we think that in theory, according to them, the bikes only burn 57 miles per gallon. You go from a weight of 504 pounds to a weight of 538. That is not just because the bike is physically bigger, it looks bigger. It's also because you get amenities like crash bars already in it, a better skid plate, and also you get a more protective windscreen. The problem is then you're gonna add bags, because with their range, if you buy that bike, I'm expecting you to go further or wanting to travel with it. So the weight is gonna start building up, and at that point, with that much weight, do you really wanna go off-road, or are you gonna stay on the road itself? And if that's the case, where you're gonna stay on the road, isn't it better just to get an R1200GS? So that brings me to a conclusion. Creating an adventure version of that bike, does that make the 1250GS obsolete? Or is it the opposite? Is the people that are actually gonna look into that segment, would they rather buy the 1250GS rather than the 850GS? Let me know in the comment below what you think about the new F850. I can tell you one thing I really love of the new motor. They finally moved the oil filter to the side, so the oil filter is not right there behind the front wheel anymore, and I think that was a smart move, since most of the stuff eating the bike is gonna come from the front. But don't get me wrong, I still love the way the new F850 looks. I personally would not choose the Adventure. I would go with the regular, but it's just because the way I ride. Moving on, but staying with the BMW topic, CES was going on in Las Vegas just last week, and I've seen that BMW brought in an R1200GS that drives himself. I hope this is just a concept exercise. I really can't place a world where the motorcycle drives itself. I hope that they're making this self-driving motorcycle just to expand on safety concepts like a better ABS system, or a better traction control system, or a better cruise control system. But in reality, In my opinion, motorcycles are a toy. You want to go ride, you want to feel the bike, you want to feel the speed, and if the bike drives itself, what's the point? But so what do you guys think about self-riding motorcycles? Let me know in the comment below. On that topic, technology is creeping in to our motorcycle more and more every year. For example, I was reading an article about Audi, Ducati and Ford getting together to create a system where there is communication between motorcycles and car, where you are aware, or the driver on the car is aware, that there is a motorcycle nearby that is coming towards you, and it gets an actual sign on the dash that says, watch out, there is something. I think that's a great thing. We're probably way far away from that system be available for everybody, but that's a step in the right direction. But on that note, technology is getting so intrusive into everything that at a certain point, what is going to prevent manufacturer from installing a software that tells you, when you go put the key in and want to go somewhere, tells you, well, your firmware is not updated, the bike will not start. You're going off-road, you're not supposed to be here, therefore we're gonna shut your motorcycle down. Well, the speed limit, it's 65 on this freeway, you're going 68, so we're gonna slow you down to 65. Now, I'm not saying that that's actually happening, I'm not saying that that's coming anytime soon. I'm just reflecting and passing the question to you and see what you guys think about it. On the other hand, I've seen some crazy concept like, we all know electric bikes are coming. There is no way around it. If you don't like electric bikes, sorry, but they are coming. There is no stopping them. The big problem with electric bikes is the weight and the range. If they're able to address the weight and the range, electric bike might be a very feasible option for most riders. And if you look around, there are a few companies that are really doing a fantastic job. There is the Energica. Energica is an Italian company that it's pretty much associating electric bikes with high-end, beautiful machines. They have the EGO. Mind you, the EGO, it's north of $22,000, so it's a lot of money, but is undoubtedly a beautiful bike with incredible performance, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. The EGO can pretty much take most supercars out there, Ferraris, Porsches, Lamborghinis. They also have the EVA 107, which is the more naked version of it. It costs a little less, and they also have the retro style. But what I've done, they have a concept bike that if you guys have a chance, I highly recommend going to take a look, because this thing is out of the world. The bike is called the BOLID.e, written BOLID.e. The crazy part is you don't have rear view mirrors anymore. You have 2 smartphones over there. You have a very APRILIA-esque dashboard, you know, the same shape at the very least, in the center, with cameras integrated up front, in the back. Because they're in partnership with Samsung, you can actually use your Samsung watch to start the bike or pass the key code to somebody else that has a Samsung watch. There is a world of possibility. If you guys get a chance, go take a look and let me know what do you think about that BOLID.e bike, because I think it's fantastic. Sincerely, if they would put one in my garage, I would be really happy about it. To conclude, let's talk a little bit about MotoGP. I'm a big fan of MotoGP. I was a big fan since ever. So I've been following MotoGP, and when I came to the States, I found out that MotoGP is not that popular. Actually, America has their AMA series, and there is very little coverage of what's going on in MotoGP. When I was able to follow MotoGP on the TV, there was no after the race, there was no podium showing, there was no interview with the pilots showing. There was just the race beginning to end, and that was it. And if there was any delay during the race, they just wouldn't show it, you know, and that sucked. So I finally pulled the trigger and got myself the MotoGP app, and I'll just follow it that way. But MotoGP is so much more than just a race. There is so much drama going on, with pilot feuding with each other, with back and forth during press conferences, with everything that goes around the world of MotoGP. If you don't know, usually you have MotoGP, which is the main class, best of the best, the fastest bike you can get, and then you have Moto2, and then you have Moto3. Usually they come in as youngsters in Moto3, 14, 13, 15 years old, and they race their way to Moto2, where the bikes are a little bigger, a little more powerful, a little faster. And then in the end, usually usually once they win a few championships, they move on to MotoGP. So MotoGP is gonna come back March the 10th with their first round that usually is in Qatar. This year we have a few changes. If you've been following MotoGP, this is what's going on. Let's go through the team. First of all, you have two types of team. You have factory team and non-factory team. Factory team is where the factories like Ducati, Yamaha, Honda actually develop parts and new firmwares. Usually the non-factory teams race with one version down of the main bike developed by the factory team. Let's take a look at what's going on this year. We have the Honda factory team, which this year is gonna sport Marc Marquez as the reigning champ for last year, for the 7th time. The kid, as much as I don't like the kid, he is good. And then we have Jorge Lorenzo joining the team, taking the place of Dani Pedrosa, which actually moved on and is now the test rider for KTM. On that you have the Ducati factory team. This year Ducati factory team is gonna be two Italians. You're gonna have Andrea Dovizioso, which was #2 last year, and you're gonna have Danilo Petrucci. Petrucci is a fantastic character on and off the track. It's really worth watching the interviews. And then you have the Yamaha team, where you have Valentino Rossi, which most people around the world know, and Maverick Viñales. The big news with Viñales is he changed number. Now it's not number 25 anymore, now it's number 12. Big deal. It's a big deal just for people that actually are fan, and they have all shirts and hats with the 25 on it, including my wife that has a shirt with the 25 on it that, no, it's not accurate anymore. But anyway, moving on, we have the Aprilia Racing Team Gresini, which is not quite Aprilia factory team. Aprilia is not quite there, but it's not even a non-factory. It's kind of a weird mixed up. I'm not really sure I understand that myself. But anyway, they have this year they have Iannone, the Maniac, with number 29. I'm a big fan just because it makes watching a race so much fun and so much breathtaking. It's like, no, he's not gonna do that, and then he does it and you're like, oh. But anyway, Iannone there, and then you have Aleix Espargaro, which has been with Aprilia now. But let's moving on. We have X-Star Suzuki, which this year has Alex Rins, which stays from the previous years. And then you have Johan Mir, Johan Mir, which the guy is coming up from the lower category, so he's moving up from Moto2. And then you have the Pramac Ducati, which this year is gonna get Jack Miller, which was in MotoGP, and Francesco Bagnaia. Francesco Bagnaia comes on from Moto2, and he actually won the championship in Moto2 last year. I hope you guys like this format. This is the best way I found to talk to you in a clear way, to get feedback, because I really care what you guys think about those topics. I just want to see if that's my point of view only, or if around the world people kind of have the same idea when it comes to motorcycles. On that topic, since last time I did a live stream, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the feedback I got from you guys in real time, the messages and back and forth I had with you. I was thinking of making that a recurring event. What do you guys think? Should I do a live stream with you guys every couple of months? Or you think that something on the line of the last Friday of every month is best? Or maybe you want one of these, the last Friday of every month, and every 2 or 3 months a live stream where we can actually interact together. Let me know. I'm gonna move that way. Coming up this year, there's gonna be a bunch of reviews, there's gonna be a bunch of installations. And on the review note, if you guys live nearby and have a particular bike that you would like me to feature on a video, let me know. Let's get in touch. I'll come to you, we'll shoot a video, and we'll show off your bike to the rest of my viewers. But that's it for today. I really hope you guys liked the video. If you did, leave a thumb up down below, leave a comment, and if you love what I'm doing with this channel, subscribe and stay tuned and see how this is gonna evolve, hopefully into something bigger. Other than that, ride on, and I'll see you next time.